Okay, welcome to GJ Weekly Recap for the last week of September, first week of October. This is my second time recording this because the first time I recorded it, it was actually recording my second screen and not this monitor. So that was a piss off. I went in depth on the trades, but let's go over the analysis and re-fucking start this entire thing. So analysis, creating higher lows after tapping into 133 demand level. We're waiting for this intraday resistance to break for buys, right? And then because we saw these higher lows being made at the purple highlighted wicks on 4-hour intraday right time frame. So we knew that price was going to break up and it would go to 135.5 first. And then once that broke, we'd go to 136.5 and then that would have to break for further continuation, right? So let's see how it played out. Played out very nice. Price broke up, continued up, right? And we'll just go through it. So it broke up actually on the first session of the week on Monday, and we can see it's right here, price in lower time frame. So we created a high at market open. We were waiting for a higher low and then closure above this level, our intraday resistance here. See, price wasn't closing above it. So that level to continue up first to 135.5 or 135.2 because there's market structure here. We take into account the recent market structure. So you see after 2 a.m. close, so London open, the candle that closes below before London open closed above this. The next candle created a lower wick retest and we continued up to 135.2 and then 135.5 as well, which was our level due to this consolidation area, right? So when we look into lower time frames, best entries would have been, so I don't like entering here. So I would have waited for the high low to be created because it's still under this level, right? When it's over here. So 2 a.m., 2 a.m. liquidity grabs an hour before London open. And then price broke up and then London open. This bearish candle on 15-minute right there in the middle, this was basically the lower wick and then price pushed up. So when we go into lower time frames, we'll see all the fucking time frames. So you see, this bearish candle doesn't mean necessarily that price is going to push down. This is just lower wick being formed because you see hourly did close above. So that was a good place for entry. See, hourly closed above. A good place for entry. Could have, and it went to 500 before going up. So even though it went below the level, it still went to 500. 70 pips here, or target was 135.5, right? And then could have taken positions off at 135.2 and then waited for the rest. Okay, so and then price broke above. It broke above 135.5, right? So we said in the analysis like, so we'll have to see what happens once it breaks up, retest to continue up. So we also had this market structure here. So we know that the retest could have been at this level too. Okay, so the next day market just consolidated on Tuesday. Complete shit. This is not a good place to trade because it's not reacting to key levels, right? You don't want to be trading in the middle of like these small minor price action, right? You want to aim for the bigger levels that we have set out in the analysis. So on Wednesday, price so Tuesday, price is accumulating after this move on a Monday and accumulated the entire day. And then Wednesday, price came down to 135.2 exact. This market structure, this exact market structure that we had here, it came down exactly below the previous low and grabbed liquidity. And we know that GJ does that a lot. Above the previous high, there'll be liquidity, see high, next high, grab liquidity and then push down, right, at the resistance. Here, liquidity below the previous low, which is here, and then at support, and it pushed up. Even here, this was a low, pushed down to a level below the previous low, grab liquidity, and did the push up. So you see, liquidity grabs are below previous levels and there's just buyer liquidity down here, right? And there's just on major supply levels, there's just seller liquidity up here. So price pushed down and we'll go through this. Price pushed down 2 a.m. We know 2 a.m. price sets up because usually before that's a liquidity grab, or 2 a.m. to 3 a.m. Even after London open, 3 a.m. Eastern is what I'm talking about. Tapped, rejected, created a higher low, good entries here, and then price just created higher lows all throughout until we tapped 136.500 exactly, and we rejected and created a high there. 136.500 right, was reached. Perfect. So that was the second trade of the week. 126 pips. So one was on Monday, this was on Wednesday, none on Tuesday, because why would you want to trade when, like, this is a mess, right? Okay. So just keep into account, and this is also something I'm still keeping into account, that there's liquidity below previous lows. Okay. So it doesn't have to reject that level exactly. And we know that there's market structure here. So it lined up very nicely. This move was due to Brexit. So Brexit, so see, I was anticipating buys, like price is going to do something like this because we were trending bullish, right? But there was a higher time frame candle didn't close above. As you can see, this was over here. We didn't get a 4-hour closure above. We got a 1-hour closure above, right? And then price pushed down, Brexit news came, and then price pushed down straight to the previous demand level, right? And we pushed down, and then we pushed back up, back to 136.5. We tapped 137, but you can see it went up, right? This was essentially the higher low than this, right? GJ is very volatile with its moves. So, and an indication that the sell-off was about to happen was when we failed to stay above this level. We then went down to previous low. We made a new low, right? After creating a high, grabbed liquidity above the previous highs, and then lower high was made. And once this candle closed down, boom, this was a Brexit release. The news came out, and then we pushed down to the previous supply, previous demand, price tap, created a higher low, and then continued back up to 136.5. Key level to key level, right? But you don't have to capitalize on every move. I don't like that one. But I know some people caught this. Then on Friday, so yesterday, this was Wednesday, this was Thursday, right? Price was consolidating the entire time prior to pre-London. And then pre-London, price pushed down all the way to 135.05. So below 135.2, and that's what I mean. Below the previous low, there's liquidity, right? So like this was low, we went below it, grabbed buyer liquidity. And then, so this isn't a place for entry because we're below that level. Once we close back above, retest, create a higher low right here, higher low, and then we pushed up all the way back to this like consolidation, accumulation level right here, okay? So let's look at 1 minute and how that looked. So when we're in 1 minute, this liquidity started happening on pre-London. So like 2 hours before London open, and then 2 a.m. candle, which is 1 hour before London open. So there's no reason to buy here after we tap this because there's no higher low. We're waiting for the higher low, right? You'd enter on the higher low or something like this. If that happened, then you're like, okay, it's time to reverse. But price pushed down, kept pushing down. No reason for entry here either, right? No reason for entry here because we don't know what's happening right now. And then price pushed, create a low, right? Tapped 135, and then it pushed back above. So, if we go back above that level, we're going to continue up, okay? Went above, create a higher low, could have entered here, then created a high, okay? Not enough order flow to push past this level in lower time frames. So price came back down around London open, created another higher low at London open, another higher low, and then pushed all the way up here, right? So that's 70 pips. You see the breakdown in that trade and how I know a lot of people caught this. Super clean move. And so essentially could have waited for 5 minutes to show you structure. And listen, if you missed this and let's say price just kept continuing up, fuck it, man. Like there's no point in chasing, right? Why chase something that just implies it's running away from you? So you're going to lose. So create a high above this level, came back down. And when we retested, this is what I mean. Entry is only at the key levels, right? Entry here, stop loss 15 pips, take profit 70 pips, 1 to 5 almost. Okay, so that was GJ. That's the moves that I personally liked. So 70 pips, 120, 190, and then 90. So 280 pips on GJ. Not a lot, but it's a lot, right? 280 pips is still a lot to capitalize on. Okay, thanks for watching. Appreciate the support. But yeah, you see, analysis played out pretty well, like we expected. Break up above 135.5, and then go to 136. So this is just accumulation again, saying that this is the move here. So maybe something like this can happen, right? And head up back to the supply area. And then we even have that in the analysis, but I'll update the analysis and I'll make a new one. All right. Thanks for watching.